I am your real life trader, and I'm here to remind you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt and achieve your financial dreams. The good news is I got to commandeer the microphone once again. And Angie and I and my dad, Ed, are doing the afternoon session. The bad news is Jeremy's got a family emergency that he's dealing with. So hugs and prayers and wishes for you, Jeremy. Yeah, everyone just, say a prayer or whatever your beliefs, meditate, but send good thoughts, good wishes, prayers, all of that kind of stuff towards the Newsom family. Let's see, that was good news, that was bad news, and the other good news is that it was my dad's birthday, and we played a special happy birthday song during the break, and I would sing happy birthday to you on the recording, but someone actually copyrighted happy birthday, so it would be illegal. What's this world coming to? What's this world coming to when you can't sing happy birthday to your dad on a recording? So we were looking at just a few day trades. This is one. We didn't make any of these official, but we were kind of demonstrating what a high of the day breakout would look like and how we would trade it. So on Gaming and Leisure Properties, GLPI, it had a nice little pop on the daily. Volume is only 600,000, so would not have traded it, but had a nice little resistance, had a nice gap above it. This is a gap and go. This light blue line is a target from a long time ago, many months, maybe a year or two. So if we switched over here to the 5-minute, we see that a high of the day was established by this bearish candle here, and I drew the top of it with a Pepto-Bismol line. And then we looked at the percent that this stock has moved today, and it has moved about 4 or 5%, so that makes it a little bit less yummy. But the target up here, this 2-hour target, would be at about 6%. And the new high of the day was on this candle right here. This candle, you see that? Maybe you can see. Yeah, let's see. If I move my mouse, you can see. There's a little wick right up there that sets a new high of the day. Then this candle and this candle retest that high of the day breakout. And they demonstrate that there is support up here where there was old resistance. And so I set my entry at the high of this candle and the stop at the low of that candle. And you can see it just barely hit 2R, wicked out up there at 2R. And so once that happened, I would have moved my stop to break even. And so I would have gotten stopped out, or excuse me, trailed out here for a 1R win. But someone else with different stop placement might still be in this trade and taking it on up. But for me, this one is over. So let's go and take a look at MAC. Here's one that we were looking at for a day trade. And it is doing what I wanted it to do. So this is actually the high of the day breakout. Let's go back and check it on the daily. So as you can see, it gapped above this pivot point, clearing all of these pivot points for the last 2 months or so. It does have over 1 million shares, so this does have good volume. Because it's 3 o'clock and it hasn't set an entry yet, I'm probably not going to take it. This candle right here is the high of the day. It has broken through the high of the day and is coming back to retest this Pepto-Bismol line that I drew, which was the old high of the day. So if you did want to enter a trade such as this, your entry would be above the high. So the high here is 92.63, it would be 92.65. And the low would be at the bottom of this pattern. So the retest should be at 92.41. So I'll set the stop at 92.40. Now it is 3:01 and 24 seconds. So I want this thing to go another 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I want this candle to complete basically and not set a higher high than it already has. And then that would be my trade. Let's see, 2R would be here. And I don't hate this trade. It's just that it's so late in the day It's not even close to triggering. So this thing, the earliest this thing could trigger would be 305. And I guess there's no reason it can't hit 2R, but I just don't think it has enough time. So plus I'm going to be busy doing other things, looking at other stocks. But this is 2 examples of how to trade the high of the day or the low of the day breakout according to my trading plan. We had some people looking at BABA, and it looks like it is about to hit 2R for them. FFIV was just going sideways, and it's still going sideways. And BYD was one we've been contemplating, and this one would not have triggered. So one of these we were going to look at for a swing trade. If you guys want to type in that ticker, I'll take a look at it for a swing trade. But let's go take a look at the indices and see what they did today. Let's start with SPY, my buddy, my pal. That's a 5-minute chart. It looks like it went up today. Lots of purple lines. Woo! I don't even remember what I said on Friday. So let me take some of this stuff off. Take that off. Take that off. So I'm going to leave the head and shoulders pattern on here. So there's 2 things that could be happening here. And tomorrow will be the tail. We had the bearish breakout of the head and shoulders that came down and touched the 50. Now I was talking today that typically when you break out of a pattern such as this, it will come back and it will retest the neckline. That could be what today is. So tomorrow, if we continue down lower, let's see, sorry, got to get the tool. If we continue down lower, we might be headed on down here to the trend line or the SMA, which I'm going to draw like that. My arrow's a little bit too steep. We might continue on. I would love it if we spent maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days this week. Let the 100 come up, let this come down, and buy the bounce with rock solid support right about in here. Let's just see. This would be March 25th, so that's actually quite a ways away. March 13th is the end of this week, I believe. So that might happen, maybe. At any rate, so you guys get the idea. If we continue lower, look for a bounce off of this pivot point, and the 100 simple moving average coming in. Now, if we continue upwards, this would be what's called a bear trap. And let's see, if we get a close above this neckline, this pivot point in here, if we get a close above that, I don't see why we can't. Well, we have to see where our stop would go. Horizontal ray. If we get a nice strong close above this pivot point, where is, oops, templates, trigger end of day. The stop, the stop would have to be down there, and that is not horrible. Don't you love that when someone says, hey, you could do this trade, it's not horrible. The whole thing is, we're still more bullish than bearish on the market. There just hasn't been enough to really say, hey, all of this is done. Back to the high of the day, or the high of last week would be a 1-to-1 reward risk ratio. So you might have a good chance of maybe selling some of your shares there, but 2-to-1 would be somewhere up in here, which is extremely reasonable for this to happen. And in fact, one thing I am noticing is that these trend lines that we're drawing up here at the top, they're getting slower and slower and slower. So I do believe the market is running out of gas, running out of steam. Let's see, the difference from here to here was I guess that was about 2 months. So to go from here to here, that's about another 2 months. So yeah, so that would be my plan on SPY, unless it rolls back, and then might get a buy the bounce down here. And I like that one even better because you would get a much better reward risk ratio down here than buying, getting in there. So it just depends on what your trading plan is, and trade your plan. Trade your plan, because hopefully you have back tested your plan, you have forward tested your plan, and you know that your plan works. So trade your plan. I think that's what I'm hoping for. Let's look at the DIA, and maybe that will give us a little bit better clue as to what's all going to happen. All right, so DIA ends up drawing kind of a similar picture that I drew for SPY. Let's clean this up just a tad. Clean it up just a bit. You know what? I still like that same picture. If we get a close, what do I want? I want to click that one. Horizontal way. If we get a close, I'm going to put it slightly above that candle over there. I'm going to draw it up there. If we get a close above this gap that happened right in there, I would be more bullish than bearish. The problem is the stop would have to be down here, and that was the problem with the SPY trade, is that your target has to be so far away. Let's EMAs. And yeah, that doesn't help too much. I just love, one thing that I like is the fact that we did reach the 50. That would explain a lot about why we might continue bullish, because this candle is the 10, this candle is the 20, so we might get one big push off the 50. Makes perfect sense to me. One thing, we also might come down here and have a buy the bounce situation. So those are my two plans, I guess, on the indices, is if this goes sideways or comes down just a tad, we might be able to buy it off the 100. I would love it if you could buy off of the 100 and this pivot point on the DIA, same as we drew on SPY. I wanted to come over and take a look at some of these oscillators, the stochastics, the RSI, to see if there's any indication of a bump. And the location of this is bullish to me, because the tick up in the RSI is higher than it was back here, just by a little bit. So that is bullish to me. Stokes, I'm not getting much of a read off of. I think all in all, I'm slightly more bullish than bearish. And I think that would be my plan if I were swing trading. A close above this pivot point, actually a close above this gap back here for a bullish trade. But honestly, the reward risk ratio, I'd have to hesitate on, because your stop would have to be so far down here. I'd almost rather this come down just a little bit, rest a little bit more, go sideways, and wait for the 100 simple moving average to come up, and then enter off of that. Let's take a look at the Qs. And yeah, same thing, different ticker. It's good when all the tickers are saying the same thing. It's reassuring to me. It makes me think that my analysis is complete and solid. Now, this one didn't have nearly the bullish signal that the others did. So that might mean that we do get a little bit more of a retracement. The SPY and the day are much more closely, I want to say correlated, but that's going to end up being the word that I use. The SPY and the S&P and the Dow Jones track each other a whole lot more closely than they track the Nasdaq, due to Nasdaq being so heavy in text. But if this were to come down here, we might have an opportunity to buy the bounce off the 50 or maybe even 100 simple. 100 is speeding up. Again, I think on all three of the tickers, I really like a buy the bounce situation here. I'm not sure it's going to continue down though. I'm not sure it's going to continue down. But I think you guys understand my plan. If not, type something in the chat pane and I will explain in more detail. Here, we didn't really get such a convincing close below the neckline. So this may be a little bit, that's not quite bullish. It may just means we haven't hit the neckline yet. Yeah, I think we go sideways. I think we just are going to bounce around going sideways for a little bit. Let everything rest. Let everything catch up. This was such a large bullish move. And really, this end of February on all the indices was just crazy, crazy bullish. Look at all those white candles in a row. I think we need more of a rest. So I'm calling for this thing to go sideways. If you like bear call spreads, we may have the candle we get tomorrow and certainly Wednesday. So Wednesday, weekly Wednesday may be a fun. We may get some bear call spreads. And then, of course, if we get a bullish bounce above those triggers I drew on the others, then we might do some bull put spreads. We'll just have to see over the next day or two. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on the indie? Pat Kaufman saying we need to look at Q. Sorry, every time I see this ticker, I think of Tweety Bird going, yoo-hoo, booty tat. All right. Q looks like it's bouncing. I don't like that wick though. There is a nice little void though. If we do get a bullish move all the way up into here. Let's see, we have a bullish candle here and then it gaps up. So should I expect that this thing gaps and goes, or should I expect that this thing retests? I should expect that this thing to retest. You guys know it. You guys are typing it in right now as I speak. So the fact that this thing has gone all the way up to here and then opened there, spent most of the day coming back to here, this is the time for it to actually bounce. Tomorrow morning, I would expect it to bounce. Luis Marquez, does this meet with your strategy where you take it as it goes through the 10 EMA? What I'm thinking of on this, well, let's see. I'm going to see if I can replicate Luis Marquez's strategy that he is doing on BABA right now and just destroying like anyone's craziest thoughts. All right, so the 10 EMA, goodness gracious. Let's see, over here, 48.65. This pivot point's at 48.87. For my snipers out there, I don't hate this idea of a entry either just above this pivot point. What did I say? 87. An entry just above. Why is that pivot point there? You know what? I'm going to bring this pivot point down to that candle there. So I got the 10 EMA at 48.65 and that at 48.62. Let's see, the high of this candle is 48.50. So I'm going to drag this guy down to 48.50. All right, what I am thinking you might do if you are a bit of a gunslinger, you like aggressive entries, you don't mind being stopped out, is something a little bit above 48.65. Let's call it 48.60. Let's call it 48.70. Come on, drawing tools. All right, well, I've set it. It would look something like that. That's not exactly 40, that's 48.77, but I would do it at 48.70. An intraday trigger, your stop would be in the gap just below today's low. Today's low is 47.64. So I do it at 47.62. It's going to look something like that. There's a good chance you're going to get 2 to 1 or very close to 2 to 1 at the top of yesterday's wick, which will be very close to the 20 EMA coming in, which might be a target. But all in all, the target would be way up here as you come into the wicks of these candles. I'm maybe draw one target there, and then by that time the 50 is going to be coming down to there. So and then you're going to have a number of targets up in here, but that's a rockstar awesome reward risk ratio. Lewis, I'm talking bullish trade. So Lewis is in that he would do very similar numbers to kind of what I'm talking about. So there's the trade on QHU if you like it. Thanks for posting that. Gosh, I really like that. I need to back trade Lewis's strategy for myself. By the way, if you don't know how to learn your own strategy, here's my 7 steps in this article right here. I'm not going to go through it again because I did it once or twice last week. But I need to go through, read this article. Actually, I know the article because I wrote it. I need to go through and follow my own 7 steps on Lewis's strategy because it sounds pretty tempting, especially when I see setups like this and setups like he did for Baba actually still going on. Let's take a look at this MAC, see if that did. Okay, that did trigger based on the setup that we had put in, and it looks like it's going to have no trouble getting to 2R by the end of our session. So that's how that high of the day trading works. Baba, let's see, we had been talking about Baba. Oh, did this hit 2R? Oh man, it got really close to 2R. I imagine, let's see, if I were trading this, I would have gotten trailed out right there for about a half R. No, that's closer to 1R. Anyway, that would have been a great trade. Let's take a look at Baba on the daily for all of those traders. And Baba is rolling back down. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There you go. Woohoo. Okay, so Baba is rolling back down with a nice bounce off the 10. I think it easily gets down to the bottom here. Okay, here's what I'm seeing. This action in here, to me, looks a lot like this action in here. So what I would expect this thing to do, and basically your entry was earlier today. I like Lewis's entry off the 10. Yeah, your entry was kind of in the morning when it took off below all of these wicks. That's what I would have done my entry when it took off below these wicks. So I'm calling for Baba to come down here to this support area, give us a little bounce, and then break. And then you can follow the G that I've been talking about, wait for it to roll up and go again, or you can get it on that first break. If you get a nice tight reward risk ratio, I'd take that first breakout. If it's big and hairy, then you wait for the retest. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on Baba? Johnny Guarco's in the house. Welcome in here. All right. Zane, we never got in on PNK. All right, let's go on. Let's see, I did all of the indices. Today is Merchant Monday, and some people have been talking about Apple. I love it. One thing that I've started doing lately is I draw pictures, and then I kind of wait for the stock to fill into the picture. Like on Mac, I drew this picture, about 7 minutes before no, closer to 10 minutes before it actually started filling up the picture. Same thing on BABA, FFIV, and sometimes the reward risk ratio isn't there, so I draw a picture on what I want it to do, and then when it does it, then I have to trade it. And I think Jeremy Newsom, especially in the last 2 to 4 weeks, has been saying, write out what you want it to do, what you want the stock to do, what your entry would look like, and when it does it, then you do what you said you would do. If the stock does this, then you'll trade it there. And that's actually a lot of what I wrote in this article. You write out your entry, and then when the stock does it, you do your thing. All right. Let's see. Apple is bouncing up in here. I love how all these are right here close to this gap. Oh my gosh, we have a bullish candle here and it gaps up. That's a retest. So Apple could continue on down here to retest some of these others. Notice this 50 EMA is going to catch up right to about where this stop is. This purple line here mimics the 100 SMA coming up here to a buy the bounce situation here. So if you own shares on Apple, I think you're waiting for a close below this gap before buying protective puts, or dump, or maybe your stop is where I have this blue protective put signal. If you do not own shares of Apple, I think we're waiting for a big white candle or a new white soldier would sure be lovely. I don't remember if we're seeing any bullish divergence on this. And I do not see bullish divergence yet. Everything that I'm seeing with my eyeballs looks as expected. Bollinger Bands, what do we do to the 20 simple moving average? We're right on it. So we're flirting with the 20 moving average on the Bollinger Bands. Look how these bands are crushing in. Apple is not going to stay like this for too much longer. The angle of these bands, oh my gosh, Apple's going to pop one way or another by Wednesday, I think, maybe Thursday. And it may pop aggressively. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I'm going to guess that by Wednesday or Thursday, Apple has made a bullish move. I hope it goes bullish. Then we can do a bull put spread for weekly Wednesday down here below this gap, below the 20, below the exponentials, and that might be some sweetness. Questions, thoughts, opposing views on Apple? Pat Coffin says, what do you think of DG doing a ridiculously quick swing trade? Pat's calling, says there are earnings on, let's see, there's earnings either Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning on DG. She's saying, what do I think about buying now and selling then? The Bollingers looks like the 20 is offering some sort of marginal support. The EMAs are rather inconclusive. It definitely is finding support based off of that wick, that wick, that wick, and that wick. So I think you can put a stop below these wicks, below the 20, if you wanted to go bullish on it. I think I would wait for a strong move above. If you want to get out on Wednesday, you're probably going to need an intraday move. Let's see, the high of that candle is 71.90. So I'd set this stop at about 71.92-ish, which is what that is. Come on, picture. Something like that. But what I would do is I would wait for a retest. So on an hourly or maybe even a 30-minute chart, it could gap up, but at some point I would be waiting for that. A retest, I want it to break above this pivot point, or maybe even this gap, a break above that and a retest, and then I'd get in. And if that happens, you could even consider moving your stop. That's a purple line. Move your stop up something like that. And then let's go back to the daily. And you might get your target somewhere. You're definitely going to run into some resistance when you get to the top of these wicks and where this candle opened, but it might go higher. But that's how I would put that trade on if I were wanting to swing trade Dollar General in the next day or two. Let's see if there's any indicators like bearish divergent that say not to do something. No, it looks like it's resting and pulling back down. So, all right, Pat, does that answer your question? Rock and roll. You gonna do it? Gonna think about it? I know Pat's gonna say, gonna think about it, right? All right, cool. Let's see, what else can we look at? Someone was requesting Home Depot. Very interesting. So Home Depot is actually a gap and go, but it's rolling back down. This looks so much like Apple. It looks so much like the DIA, the SPY, that I'm expecting a bounce off of this area. And we did get a new white soldier today. Check that out. All right. So we might get something very, very soon. Just have to wait and see and watch and see what this is going to do. I just made a mess on my desk here. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, sweetheart, could you grab me a paper towel, please? All right, so we do have a new, no, that's not a new white soldier. Just by a few pennies, it's not. That is a very bullish candle today, though. The volume's not that great. Shucks. All right, well, I was hoping I was going to have something for you to do on Home Depot by tomorrow. Let's see if we're getting any bullish divergence. That would be really nice to see. And we aren't. Okay, this thing may go sideways a little bit longer. Everything is reset, though. EMAs, where's the simple? You know what? We might go up from here. We might go up from here. Hang on a sec. We might go up from here. We might go just a little bit more sideways. I think if I were looking for an entry on Home Depot, I'm thinking a bounce off the 20. Let's take a look at it on an hourly, see if it's looking like it may set up for anything. We do have a lot of candles above the EMAs here. This is some sort of high retest. I guess I have conflicting viewpoints on Home Depot. So to me, that means wait. Questions, thoughts, opposing views? Any suggestions on Home Depot? Lewis is kind of saying what I drew with this big long purple. He says he would wait for that gap to fill, which coincides with the 20 EMA on the daily. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Lewis. I think that is likely than a bullish break here. Yeah, especially with low volume, this white candle. Low volume to me means that any signals generated from it are not as significant. All right, let's move it on. Keep on moving, moving, moving. Keep those tickers moving. Ooh, very interesting little pattern here on Wayfair. Oh, this is Wayfair. I thought I was looking at Walmart. Well, take a look at Wayfair. I have no idea what it is, but it trades about 1 million shares. And this thing has just retested the gap. So I would do an entry there, my stop there, and my target there. This will take, this may take 6 to 8 weeks. So you'd have to check earnings. But don't you love it when you type in a ticker by accident and find a really nice trade on it? The 10 EMA is coming in. Oh, I like that. Let's see if the Stokes and RSI have retested, or have they rested enough? Oh, they have. Stokes are running up. Stokes are about to cross. RSI is still a little bit high, but we expect that from that gap there. RSI can stay high. Anyways, okay. If I don't catch Walmart right on this one, I may need some help from my team. Waste management. I don't see an interesting trade there. Walmart, how about that? Walmart, I found it. I did it. I did it. Neat little pivot point here. Lorenzo, PBR earning tomorrow morning. Okay, Angie, can you help remind me to take a look at PBR, please? All right. Give me 3 seconds, please. All right, sorry about that. And now we are back. So Walmart has, it's too big to call that a head and shoulders, but that is topish. This is an island reversal. Then the question becomes, what kind of gap is that right there? It's a gap and go, so it didn't have to retest. Is that an exhaustion gap though? Okay, sweetheart. I believe if we do get a move below here, I do like, if we get a close below here, that is bearish. And your stop, I'm not going to do this trade just because I don't trade against the trend. If the market continues to go sideways, then you could consider this. The problem is this gap right in here. Okay, I'm going to take this off. And the reason I'm taking that off is because the reward risk ratio would be ridiculously small, because I think we're going to come down to here before we get a chance for a gap. This is a bullish candle here. It gaps up. That's a retest. Yes, this is a the first attempt at a retest is right. Well, I guess that wick there is a first attempt, but this is a good attempt at a retest. I think all of this may mean we come back down. We do have a bullish candle today, but it's got an incredibly large upper wick. I'm seeing a couple of upper wicks, and I'm seeing declining volume on the bullish days. So that leads me to believe that we're going to continue on a little bit longer. It would just be way too gorgeous if the simple moving averages are coming up. Oh, Angie, take a look at that. So I think we're going to come down here, go sideways, the 200 comes in, and we look for an opportunity to go bullish on Walmart a little bit later this month. Angie, if you're there, you are there. Can you tell me what when the earnings are going to be for Walmart?
Oh, yep.
Because we may have a trade on that pretty soon.
They are.
Those are my thoughts on Walmart.
May 19th. So they're done.
May 19th. Wow. Way over here. So we got plenty of time. Plenty of time on Walmart. You know what? If we make a big bearish move today or tomorrow, we can think of a bear call spread up here above the 100 for weekly Wednesday. Oh, weekly Wednesday is going to be fun. I hope. What else should we look at? Macy's has always been one that real life traders like to trade. Ew. Let's see. We got a line coming in here. We got that pivot point. I would love, let me draw something here. I would really like a close above that line. What I really wanted to do was to draw a bullish entry, an intraday entry right there for tomorrow, but not yet. Here's what I want this thing to go sideways for a little bit, and I want to get in right here at the end of the week when Macy's, I would like for it to go sideways, and then we can get a break of this bearish trend line. We can get a buy off the 100, and we can get a buy off of this pivot point. That's what I'd like Macy's to do. I'm wondering if there's any bullish divergence, and we would have this week for it to create that if it hasn't already. I'm not quite sure if I would call this bullish divergence, but it sure would be close to it. I don't see that on RSI. It's hard to call this bullish divergence because when a stock is in a channel like this going sideways, the Stokes can, the Stokes can do that and it not be divergence. So I guess my plan on Macy's would be to wait a couple of days and then see if we can get a bullish breakout above. Man, yeah, I would really like it if it went sideways for just a little bit longer. Very neato, torpedo, and coolio. Let's see what else we got. If you have any merchant tickers you want me to check out, go ahead and just type them in and I'll check them out. Target looks like we were trying to day trade that one. I asked, did I get?
You asked me to remind you to get Urban.
Aha. Urban's gapping tomorrow, or? Do they have earnings tomorrow?
I'm going to look it up.
If they do, we'll wait. Yeah, I should tell you what, I'll take a look at that while you're looking at that, and then we'll all look at things. And then it'll be cool to look at things all together. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, Urban Outfitters, definitely bullish. It is approaching the target, so if you have shares, I would be looking a target right up in here. If we gap above that, which, that would just be glorious. It looks like earnings were a day or two ago. Earnings maybe this afternoon, thinking. Urban Outfitters.
After closed.
Say that again, after close today?
Today. Yep.
Awesome. This is 40.67, I think. Yeah, so if Urban Outfitters gaps above 40.67, I would be thrilled. Remember when I was talking about the breakouts of patterns? This is some kind of wonky double bottom. Oh, those are gorgeous breakaway gaps right there. This gap retested there, and then it retested twice. I'm not sure what this retest is, but that is certainly a retest, and another almost like a bullish island reversal. Then there's a retest gap, and that wick right there is the retest. So we could come down and try and retest this gap in here, but yeah, I'd be surprised if I'd be real surprised. I know I've got bearish traders here. So I would say, I'd say there. So the low of this candle is 36.84. If you get a, we'll just call that where the EMA is, so it may bounce off the EMA. If Urban Outfitters opens below 366, it would be a bearish retest gap. If it opens above 4067, which is what I really hope it does, then that would be a bullish gap and go. Doubt it's a perfect gap and go, but we'll have to see here lately. So MAC did hit the 2-hour target. Now it's rolling down to retest. If you have shares, if you did this trade, realize you got 18 minutes. I think it's going to come down here and retest again this breakout. So you might set your stop maybe where the 20 is, because I believe it'll bounce and go up before that. But I'm going to turn that one off. BABA still doing it. Let's take a look at this on the 5-minute. And yeah, I think we talked about setting the stop there, and that's why, because it would have gotten trailed out there. So if you're in BABA, I would set my stop here and get ready to just close out for a break even or a small profit. No problem with that. FFIV, I don't think anyone got into this trade, but it is looking more bullish than bearish to me right now. You could do a market, and I'm pretty sure no one did this trade, but it is just did make a lower low, and it is making lower highs. So if you were bullish on Boyd Games, I would get out, and I would get out pretty quick because you're at a good point right now. If you want to, suppose you could set your stop below these wicks and see if you get a bounce, end of day bounce through the EMAs. All right, Urban Outfitters, let me save this one so I know to come back and check it. And I'll publish, make a pretty picture. If you are in the session live, I'm going to ask you a question. Give me a 1 if you would rather I type in the numbers in my trading plan now while everyone's on the session, or type in a 5 if you like, the way I just kind of say what I would do, and I come back in and I type in the numbers later and I publish that. And so if you're following, you get an email. Type in a 1 if you want me to type the numbers in now, type everything up on the screen. Type in a 5 if you'd rather I do it later and publish it, and that way we get to look at a few more tickers. 1 is I do it now, 5 is I do it later, and we get to look at a few more tickers. Lots of 5s, all 5s. Okay. Tell me what maybe gapping tomorrow. Tell me what earnings announcements you guys are looking at. Barnes & Noble is going to have their announcement either tonight or tomorrow. Looks like tomorrow before open. So if Barnes & Noble, hey guys, are you proud of me? I said Barnes & Noble and not Burger King. Every time I say BKS, I think of Burger King. If the high is 26.22, I want it to gap above 26.22. Come on, you can do it. 26.22 would be that. A gap above there would be a very nice bullish retest gap. I'm just now noticing volume is a little bit low. Maybe not a little bit more than a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than a little bit. I'm so glad that's being recorded. Volume here is 700,000 shares. So I would need an absolutely gorgeous, almost perfect retest gap in order to trade it bearish due to all the congestion down in here. By congestion, I mean there's lots of pivot points. There's going to be a lot of targets. The 50 EMA, several support lines, and I know the hundreds are going to be coming up. Hundreds pretty far, but you're going to have a pivot point based on the 50. Maybe I don't hate it off the EMAs as much as I thought. I guess I'll draw it. I'm not going to trade it bearish, but if you get a open below 24.11, and the reason I'm saying it's because it clears this pivot point this pivot point, and the 50. So if you did get up here and you decided to take a bearish move, this may be what today was. People may have had their targets at this point, and so people are getting out today, although volume is really low. If it opens tomorrow and you were bearish, you likely had your target somewhere in there, but your stop is certainly there, or there. But anyway, I think I'm confusing strategies. But if it opens below 24.11, that would be a gap and go, a bearish gap and go that I will not be taking. All right, what else is got earnings coming up that you guys would like for me to take a look at? BKS. Let me make that prettier. BKS. Did I say happy birthday, Dad, on the recording? I think I did. If not, happy birthday, Dad. And if I did, say it earlier. Happy birthday, Dad. Yes, you saved. What are you doing there? Okay, thank you. Oh, Burger King merge. It doesn't exist anymore. All right, Zane said he got out of one for a small profit to break even. Who was that got 6.5 R on a trade this morning? Oh, it's gotten off. It's gone off the screen. Type in who crushed which stock for 6.5 R today. And if you guys have David, that's right. David just crushed John Deere today. 6.5 R. Let's go take a look at that. Yeah, John, he saw this open above the 20, and he got in. I would pull up the 1 minute chart because he did a 1 minute bounce, but got in somewhere. Yeah, 90.60 was his entry, and his stop was down here in the gap. And yeah, like I said on the 1 minute, and if I bring up the 1 minute, of course it's going to bring up like 400 candles. So it's take forever to find it. Trailed out somewhere, I think, right about there. Maybe there. Anyways, he got out about an hour ago. I guess an hour, maybe somewhere over here. I'm not sure where he got it, but 6.5 R on a day trade. Guys, realize 6.5 R is what most money managers would love to have in a year. So when you're doing that in a day or a month or even a year, you're just destroying things, and it's lovely and it's awesome and it's wonderful. I know Jeremy talks about a monthly goal for day traders of being 10 R. Granted, he says that's what professional traders do, and that is definitely rock star status. But 10 R in a month is insane. My goal for the morning session is 3 R, because if you can do 3 R in a month, that is doubling your account in a year. For me, I think doubling your account trading 4.5 hours a week is just, that's rockstar trader status. Angie, do we have any ideas of what's gapping tomorrow yet? Or what's going to have earnings announcements for tomorrow? I don't see people typing in tickers, so we can go look for things, or I can do more merchant stocks. So tell you what, guys, let's see, we got 10 minutes left, so I guess I'll go start typing in some more merchant stocks to look at, because looking for stocks that are going to gap would take quite a while. Ooh, I love this consolidation bracket on Bed Bath & Beyond. This is gorgeous. Let's see, the high here is 74.93. So if we get a close above 74.93, I would definitely be more bearish than bullish. And let's see. So if we get something like that, then I would be more bearish than bullish. And this would be templates. Trigger end of day. Yeah. Oh, I'd like that. And oh, there's a little small resistance pivot point in here. This is double bottom. That's not a double bottom. Sorry, it's not the right location for a double bottom, but that is a small little bullish pattern. I guess two things, depending on your strategy and on your trading plan. You could set your stop down here at the bottom of this pattern based on that. And let's see, horizontal ray, please. Thank you. Depending on your trading plan, set your stop there. You could set your stop a little bit tighter at the bottom of this swing pattern. If you're a little bit of a gunslinger, and this is kind of the one I would do, although I don't consider myself a gunslinger, I like to stop below that wick, that wick, that wick, that pattern, that wick, the neckline of that whatever thing I just drew. Because if you get a break above this pivot point, these EMAs are going to come in. So you're going to have at least one EMA, maybe two EMAs above your stop. I wonder if we get some bullish divergence. It may not be happening yet. I don't really see any bullish divergence yet. Stokes looks bullish to me. RSI has reset. Yeah, everything looks bullish to me on BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. I like it. All right. So stocks that always confuse me: BBBY, BBY, which is Bed Bath. Best Buy. That last one was Bed Bath & Beyond. This one looks like we're still in the middle. I don't know if I'd call that a breakout. There is a pivot point that we're getting close to. Looks like we are reacting from, based on this wick back here. You can see you had a, might call that a double top, a little bit big for a double top, that it's reacting to now. So I think if I really wanted to trade Best Buy, and I don't, but if I really did, I'd be looking for a bounce off the 10 EMA. You might be able to day trade this thing tomorrow with this pivot point here being your entry, the low and your stop, and this pink line being your target. Or you could wait for a close above, darn it. You could wait for a close above that Pepto-Bismol line I had drawn, which is right about there. If you can get a stop type, maybe look at the hourly for a trigger, but that wouldn't happen for another 2 or 3 days. People are saying QHU is going crazy right now. So let's go switch over. Oops, helps if I type in the trigger correctly. Holy smokes, that's 5 minutes. That's bazonkoid. That may change everything that I said back over here. Thank you guys for that call out. Where are we now with respect to that blue pivot point? Crossed above it, we came back down. That's craziness. Guys, I don't know what to say when a stock's going to do that. Even if that's real, that may be a trading view error. I don't know if you guys are confirming this with your broker or with other sources. But I would need more time than I have right now to do the plan. Lewis says it's real. That's Bizonkor. So I would probably take that trade off and reconsider QHU. This is BlackBerry. Looks like it had a bearish gap and traded bearish today. That is a bearish gap. Ooh, coming down in here to support. I would say look for a bounce, but this gap here, wait, hang on, what is that? Bearish candle that gaps down. So, and we're coming into support. would it make just like absolutely beautiful, symphonious sense for this thing to come down here and maybe come up here and retest somewhere up in here? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But if we get a close below this pivot point, let's see. Looks like we got some type of trend line here. Oh. Let me redraw this. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. Is that we come back up, retest this gap, and then make some key decisions. If it rolls back over, we may have an X marks the spot short opportunity there. Tell me the 100 simples are coming right up into that. Oh, look at today's candle. Based on this, the retest may hold at the 200 or it may hold at the 100. We may only get that before we roll over. So yeah, next day or two we'll be interested on BlackBerry. But that is BBBY, BBY, and BBRY. Trying to think if there's any bullish trade I might put on this. Even if it gaps, if it gaps above the 100 tomorrow, that would be a gap and go. I might look for a very quick bullish day trade, like in the first 60 minutes for sure in the market. If it gaps down below this trend line, then I'd look for a retest up to the trend line and then a rollover. That'd be my plan for BlackBerry. Anything else you want me to take a look at? It looks like BIOC is going to be having some earnings announcements very soon. Daily volume is about 8 million, so that looks good. It's at a very interesting location based on those simples that we have pulled up. So let me draw some lines on this chart. If it gaps down below the 100 and below this pivot point, then I would be more bearish than bullish and liking it. Well, I'm not going to trade anything bearish for a while. But that does look good. Realize you're going to get a target somewhere around here. You got some targets coming up. For a bullish gap, the question is, if it only cleared the 200, would I be excited about taking it bullish? And I don't think I would be because of how close that one is. I think I want it to gap above 412. Oh wait, this is a penny stock. It's got good volume, but the price is too low, so I would not trade this. I guess I'm already here, so I'll talk about it. Let's turn on the EMAs. I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to publish this. EMAs are way down there. Interesting. For a bullish gap, if it gapped above 411, is where I'd be interested. But because of the low price of the stock, I won't be trading it. Any questions, thoughts, opposing viewpoints, any other trades you want me to look at? All of my love and prayers going to the Newsom family right now, and I wish you the best with what you're doing. And with that, I guess I'm signing off. Rick Kindersek is oh my gosh, he had an epic day. 2 hours today. Very nice, Rick. All right, guys. Hey, think about awesome things. I am very grateful to have plenty of food to eat. I have so much clean water that I can bathe in it. And that's more than 99% of the world can say. So thank you guys for an awesome day. Love it. We will be here tomorrow. The morning session starts at 8:45 a.m. I'm going to go over good gaps and bad gaps of the last week or two. Then I'll talk about my trading plan. If I don't get to that tomorrow, I will talk about my trading plan on Wednesday. But we will be having this session again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, so you can count on it. Thank you guys for being here. You are awesome. And trade on logic, not on hope.